Yes, it was, guys. Welcome to episode 16. This is Wednesday. Why did that not pause? There we go. This is Wednesday, July 15th, 2015. What's going on, Twerk?
Not much. What's up, guys?
How goes it?
Very good. Very good.
So, just to clear this up right now, because I know I have a lot of people that are confused on my channel. We do a Star System podcast every Wednesday. And we alternate in between my channel and Twerk 17's channel. So if you're not over on Twerk 17's channel in the chat, you're going to want to do that. Because we are doing a giveaway today.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that giveaway, Twerk 17?
We're going to give away a starter package. So, your choice, whichever one you want.
Everything you need to get into Star Citizen and start playing.
Right now, yeah.
Yep. Derek Smart's Desktop Commander!
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
If you want to start that up, I guess.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is do exclamation point starter.
Yep.
Okay, so type exclamation point starter in chat. You must be following both Twerk 17's channel and my channel to win. This is worth $45. Twitch does not sponsor or endorse any promotions or giveaways that we do on either of our channels. We do them out of the kindness of our hearts. Or something. Yeah, so remember exclamation point starter in chat, and we will shut down the stream, and after we start it back up, we will draw it then. You do have to be here to claim your prize.
Yes.
Yep, and you do have to be following both of us, and we will check. Yeah, so Twerk, what have you been up to this past week?
Today, especially, I finally started Wing Commander 3, the game I've been waiting to get to for Wing Commander Wednesdays. It's the best one. It is so fun. Oh my god, it's so fun. And then also a viewer requested that I play this game or try this game out called Reassembly.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so, oh my god, it's like addicting. I didn't get anything done this week. Just watching YouTube videos on how it is played and just playing it in general. It's so fun, and I'm gonna play it on stream on Monday. I can't wait. Oh my god, it's so fun. Yes.
So what is assembly?
Reassembly is like this top-down game. It's in space. It's very basic. So ships are made with just like building blocks: squares, rectangles, triangles, and what was the other one? Just another block. But it basically, you start with like a little like one square basically, and that's your command post or whatever, and you build around that. And if there's all these factions, and if anything blows up that command post, you die, and you respawn at another place. It's actually similar to Agario because you like pick up little circles, right. And it's like money, and then you give that money to space stations, and then that turns into this other money that you can, and it just gets, you start building spaceships like your little Lego blocks basically. Awesome. It's super basic, super fun. It's only single player, which kind of stinks. It'd be fun to play with everyone else, but it's really fun. I have such a good time with it, so I can't wait to play it on stream.
You'll just have to make your own version that's multiplayer.
Yeah, right? So what have you been up to?
So, as you know, we've been doing Agario a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing some Star Citizen, just waiting for that PTU, which is coming this week. Oh my god, so excited about that. But been playing a lot of Agario.
It's coming this week.
Over the last month. And, yeah, so we started our own private server. Because we've had a lot of people that wanted to play with us and all this other stuff. So we said, hey, let's start our own private server. Then we had the issue of somebody was flooding our server with bots, preventing our viewers from jumping on. Found out that was one of the Agario devs, and that was kind of shitty of them. So I said, okay, well, there's a lot of things that we're we're fixing and that we want to change, and we want to make this into our own, I guess. So we said, screw it, let's just make our own. So that's what we've been doing, is working on our own and making a lot of really big changes. So we're going to make something similar to Agar.io, but Star Citizen and space themed.
Cool.
So
Yeah, so
yeah,
it kind of still fits.
yep, and it's gonna be you're gonna be able to connect with Twitch and stuff. There's not gonna be like any levels or the Facebook integration and whatever stuff
Yeah.
that is. With the Twitch stuff, it's just gonna be able to pull your name and your like color and your avatar and stuff like that. And we'll also be able to set up other servers for it. So for example, if you wanted a server for your friends, you could set up a server, and then from the drop down menu right on the page, it would be like Twerk 17 server or whatever.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, so pretty cool. We're still working on that. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress. We made a Dying Star level. So there's
Nice.
a giant, it's like Hunger Games. So we have all these asteroids, and there's in the middle, there's like one big asteroid, but it's orange, and it spits out like food of different sizes to like random distances and random sizes or whatever. And you can, and over time it shrinks and it's like a dying star, right? So over time
Yeah.
it dies. But you can feed it with asteroids, or you can feed it with extra of you, and it'll get
And
bigger.
that will keep it from
And it's-
dying.
Well, you can make it as big and like crush it so other people can't get big because it'll eat them. So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, that's like new dynamics
cool.
to the game and whatever. And we're gonna skin it so it looks just like, I'm gonna take a screenshot of Dying Star and put it on there and the asteroids and stuff. I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
So that's what we've
That
been
should be
working
fun.
on. Yeah. Well, like the game mode, we've tested that. We tested that last night. It's all really fun, and a lot of people are really enjoying it. So I'm really looking forward to integrating the Star Citizen aspect of it. And then we'll release it, and I'll post it on the subreddit and all that other fun stuff. But yeah.
It should be really cool.
pretty stoked for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the PTUs this week.
Well, they
How-
said they still have like a no go meeting and all that good stuff. It's looking good, but it's not official
It's
yet.
not 100%,
No.
but it's better damn well be.
Yeah. I don't think I
So-
can go another week.
I think I
Honestly,
can go
no.
another week without
I'm so mentally and physically just drained by
just
that game.
disabled.
I really am.
What are you expecting to see in this?
I mean, I knew just from talking to Brennan that it was going to be a balanced patch. So one thing that one of our members of the Overdrive stream team has been talking to like Calyx and stuff like that, Eric McKetton, and he said, they had mentioned some things about gimbals being a little less gimbally based on their size. So I think the larger the size, the less they'll move because they have less room to move
Yeah.
and things like that. So obviously CS missiles are going to get dumbed down a bit.
They better.
Yeah, and as well as maybe some thrusters and engines, and they definitely said the generic instance manager will be in,
Yeah.
and that's like,
That's huge. That's a
like
net
it can't
code.
get better.
That's your net code.
Like, yeah, if they did that, and just that, I could deal with CS missiles like for days. I don't care. They can just fire 1,000,000 of them at me all day, and I would still be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really strong. I think it's like Arena Commander isn't a bad game. It's not a not fun game. It really is fun. It just had some challenges for the last 6 weeks,
Yeah.
something like that we've been playing it with this patch. So it's really exciting because we're like right there. I can
What
taste it,
about-
and I've been saying it for weeks, but we're there.
What about the new 2 flyable ships?
Well, yeah, those are a maybe from what McKetton said in his post on Reddit. But I'm just assuming that's the devs
from-
saying, like, maybe, they're in.
The thing is, it's on. What is it called? What is it called?
Like,
The thing
Toys
that
R
Ben
Me got,
posts up, it says that the 2 ships are in the
yeah,
PTU.
the,
Right.
like, the Derek Smart, like,
No, not that.
response.
No, not that. Not that. Has nothing to do with that. The weekly.
Oh, the weekly,
I
yeah.
forget what it's called off the top. You know what I'm talking? Yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you're talking
You're
about.
like, I forget too. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, in there he says there's the 2 ships are gonna be flyable. The Merlin, which is the first finished Star Citizen ship,
Yeah, completely finished. They have
Complete
everything that
first
they
complete
wanted.
ship. And then the scythe as well.
Yes.
Now I'm wondering how they're going to do the scythe. How people are going to be able to the comlink schedule.
There it is.
That's it right there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the new netcode. I don't know what else is going to be in there in terms of new animations or other updated ships or anything. We don't
Yeah,
know.
like how.
But I
One thing
imagine
I'm
it's going to be pretty
confused.
big because it's everything but the FPS.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'm confused about, obviously, I'm not a game developer. Obviously, I don't know how long this stuff takes. And I'm assuming that most of maybe the people that do this stuff, like the damage states on the ships, have been focusing on the. I'm assuming the side would have the updated damage states, and I'm assuming, and the Merlin obviously does, because it's the first completed ship, right?
Right.
So, what, why don't we have some of these updated damage states for the ships that we've had? Like, maybe it's because they have to update them more. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Like, I know that
Yeah,
they need to model the interior of the ships, right? They need
yeah.
to model the skeleton and the framework inside the ships for that. Otherwise, when you hit the skin, there's nothing underneath it,
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
right? So it should be. Um, it takes an amount of time. How long that is who knows. But it's going to take an amount of time for them to do that and implement those into the ships. That being said, we could see a bunch of ships come through in this PTU with the new damage states.
I feel like they would be telling us. Like they always leak a little to
Yeah,
us, you know? And so you know exactly what's going to be in every patch for the most part before it comes out. They occasionally, like, you'll see the patch notes and you'll be like, ooh, something I didn't expect, but it's nothing major like Hornet has updated damage states. Like if they were
yeah,
going to update the Hornet damage states, they were going to update I mean, Cutlass damage states, which would be a very big one because of that whole exploding cockpit thing where it just shoots
yeah,
off the map. It would be something that I feel like that they would say, you know?
yeah,
But I'm excited. I'm just excited. It's
yeah,
time, you know? It's
yeah.
it's so time.
I'm ready. I'm so ready
Yes.
for it. All right. That being said, guys, we are talking about the Aurora. That's the Pokemon this week for Starship Showcase. And under Equipped, we were talking about the repeaters from Klaus and Warner, more specifically the
Badger repeater.
Badgers, the CF
Hmm.
117s, and the Aurora LN. So, would you like to move on to Aurora? Is there any other news you want to cover?
I mean, there really anything exciting? Like there wasn't much this week. Like usually
They
there's a little something. There really
Well, they
wasn't too
did the
much.
Comic Con, and
Yes,
that was more of like a lore panel
yeah,
thing.
and I didn't follow that. I couldn't, to be honest. I looked and I didn't really find any place where I was
Yeah,
looking for a live feed, and that's all I was really looking
yeah,
for.
yeah.
I
Like,
guess
I
I could
just
have
want
went.
live feed. I don't want to
Yeah,
read words. What is
I don't
this
want to
word
read
reading,
words.
boy?
And I
Uh,
didn't think that they were gonna really drop anything significant there. Do you want to share? I mean, you probably know more about what went on than I did. Do you want to share anything that happened there? They share
um,
anything interesting?
not anything that stood out for me.
Okay.
Other than we're gonna get in Gamescom something about a map that's gonna take like 2 hours to fly from one side to another.
Nice. I'm assuming that will not be a map that will be playable for some time, though. I
They
feel
said
like
that I
that's
think
like,
they said that they want that out for Gamescom, which is beginning of August,
out as in terms to be able to show it
as
or
in free flight.
for us to play it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
significant.
we know the 64-bit system is already in there. So if that's what they're gonna do, that's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool.
But let's move forward to Starship Showcase.
Let's do it.
The Robert Space Industries Aurora LN. Speaking of Auroras, we are also giving away a starter ship. If you are watching this live on twitch.tv/twerk17, exclamation point starter in chat. If you're in my chat, jump over to Twerk's chat, type exclamation point starter. Make sure you're following both my channel and Twerk17's channel.
Mm-hmm.
and we will draw that afterwards. It's worth $45 US. Twitch does not sponsor or endorse any of our promotions or giveaways.
They don't?
They don't.
It's messed up, man. That's
This
messed
is
up.
messed up, man.
Come on, Twitch.
Go ahead and fill me in on the Aurora. What is the Aurora? What does it do? How does it do things?
Slowly. So it is from Roberts Space Industries. The model is the Aurora, and there's some variants. This was one thing that was cool. I never knew that the, two-letter variant names actually represented something. So there's the ES, which is the Essential.
Which is the base model.
The base model. There's the MR, which is the Mark, which is the model that we will actually be giving away today.
Yep.
Then there is the CL, which is the Clipper.
Ahoy, matey.
The LN, which is the Legionnaire, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
And the LX, which actually didn't have a name, but it's pretty obvious it's the luxury model, right?
Right.
So we're going to be talking about the LN, that's the Legionnaire. It is a $35 standalone ship and a $45 package, which is actually pretty good considering most packages are...
Yeah, isn't that the same as the MR?
That is the same as the MR, but it doesn't come with Arena Commander.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
So it would be a $50 package with Arena Commander, like $50, $45,
Right,
and then you spend the extra $5 for Arena Commander.
Right.
It's 3,500 rec, therefore, 35,000 UEC in-game, technically?
Yeah, but that's all going to change.
Yeah, that's definitely going to change. And the Legionnaire is a dedicated combat fighter, which is kind of funny.
It has more guns.
It's got guns, that's for sure. Built to handle any obstacle the universe can throw at you at 5 miles an hour. Militia Patrol. Militia and Patrol are its focus. No, I love this ship. I love flying this ship. It's slow, so I'm just busting on it. Its length is 19 meters. Its mass is 8,300 kilograms. Its max crew is 1. Cargo capacity is 13 if you have the store all attached to it. And we're going to go into some stats. So the primary engines are TR3s, the OKB Vashkod Energia 4s.
Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast. 4s. And then maneuvering thrusters are they have 8 times maneuvering thrusters, KDK TM4 sliders, and there's TR1s, and the max size is TR1. The power plant is an Amnon Reese company, LR5 max overdrive, and that's a size 1 power plant. But in terms of the stats page, which again, everything is subject to change and also may not be correct,
right?
You can upgrade to a max size 2. So some upgradability there, which is good. It's got 2 size 2 fixed mounts on those top wings there that you could see.
Yep.
And 2 size 2 gimbaled mounts on the nose, which is pretty cool. Size 2 gimbals mounts.
So does that mean that
mounts
you can put fixed size 3s?
No, you can put fixed size 2s on the...
But you could put the 2 gimbal size 2s as well.
No, because the mounts are actually gimbal.
Oh, okay,
They're just
so you
gimbaled.
fit size 1 weapons on the gimbals.
Correct.
Gotcha, okay.
You can fit size 1 and size 2 gimbals on them. So the bottom is like you could put Omni Sky 6s and they're gimbaled.
Oh, okay. I think this is the one where it's an issue that needs to be fixed. I think it will be able to fit size 3s.
And have them not be gimbaled?
Yeah.
I've never been able to. It hasn't been.
Yeah, I don't think you can at the moment. I think that's an issue that they need to do right now, yeah.
And then right at the top, right above the cockpit, there is a bearing ASIM 09-C Marksman 2 missile rack. It's got 4 missiles on there.
And it just holds it on top of your head.
Yeah. It's like a hat. It's a missile hat.
It's a missile hat.
Yeah. And
seems safe.
The max size for those missiles are 2 as well. And the shields are Gorgon Defender Industries all-stop size 2s. And it says max size 3. Now, that's something I haven't tried yet, but I will try in the future purchasing a...
size 3 shield?
A size 3 shield and see if I can fit it on there. And any additional equipment is that store-all, that container on the back.
It comes with it?
It comes with this, yes.
Okay.
But you can swap it out for other things in the future. Not sure what, but the included hangar is self-land.
Yep.
It's in hangar. It is flyable.
And it even has the fancy HUD, right?
It does. I love this HUD. So this is like the first iteration on the Auroras of like HUDs that are on panels.
Yeah, it's
So it's something
your
that we're going to see on the Merlin as well. It's so nice looking. It just feels right when you're in that ship.
and
It feels like a spaceship.
they won't all feel the same, which is
Yes,
nice.
which is
Because
cool.
right
Like
now they do. Like if you jump in a Hornet or a Cutlass, it looks the
they
same.
still feel similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even
Oh,
though they're
look.
different colors and there's different sounds, it's very, very similar, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Aurora, you get in and you know you're in you are in an RSI ship or in an Aurora because just the look of the HUD, and I really love it.
Yeah.
You just when they put that in, it made flying the ship so much more fun. The only notes that I have on it is it's so slow. It's actually very viable in a combat situation. The problem is like you spawn so far outside of where the typical fights are that
Right.
you're flying there at 150 meters per second, and by the time you get to the area that you were hoping to get to, the two people have either rammed into each other and killed themselves.
Yeah.
The one killed the other, and in an Aurora, you're kind of hoping to sneak behind somebody that's involved in a fight already and hit him a couple times and kill him. It's hard. It's not as simple to be in a one-on-one dogfight and strafing around and speed because it just doesn't have that.
Hmm.
So it is viable. It's got 4 guns. It's able to have size 2 gimbals on it. You can put OmniSky 6s on the nose mount, and OmniSky,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Six is on the
yeah,
nose and
and
the
the wings.
fixed.
That's
Yeah.
4 OmniSky 6s. That's a very powerful ship.
Something
Right.
I've been seeing a lot of people flying the Aurora and messing around with it is with what we talked about last week, is the neutrons.
Yes, I
Running
float.
4 neutrons and
Yep.
just wrecking people that way.
One of the advantages of being so slow is targeting is way easier. It's like having a more
Yes,
it's
it's
just way easier because things aren't flying past you as quickly. It's just you're able to target and it's
you're nice
nice.
and slow. The problem is you're also nice and slow for people that hit you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So like the only controversy that I have with this is it is so much slower than every other ship in game. Maybe it can get a little bit of a boost up, not too much, be a little bit below everyone else, and it seems to be a little bit hard to earn your way up from an Aurora in the rec system.
now
So go ahead.
something I just remembered, and I was going to bring this up. Um, Now this can go to a larger size power plant, right? Which may or may not be able
Yes.
to put more power to thrusters and things like that.
And guns,
But
which
I
is because
just
they do run out.
remembered the design post. I forget who. I think it was Will Leverett that posted it. I could
Okay.
be wrong. That they're changing the way that the sizes of weapon or the sizes of the power plants work. So instead
Well,
of us
they're
having a max size 2, we're gonna have multiple size, like multiple ones for different systems, so they can be enabled and disabled separately. So that's going to
as
be
in
something
like
that changes.
yeah, that was actually some news this week, but it
Yeah,
wasn't that much of a change, I don't think. What they were
it
kind
is
of
going to
saying,
be. It's going to be a pretty big change for what we're talking about for the stats, with like
it's
size
actually
1 and size
it's just
2.
physical size. They wanted to make a box of what size that they would be in,
Right,
right? So
right,
how does that change anything? They just wanted to standardize, okay, a size 1 will be this actual
right.
size.
But instead of getting a size 2 power plant, you'll
Oh,
get 2 size 1s.
they might not be able to fit, is what
No,
you're saying.
there'll be 2 size 1s. So they're going to be compartmentalizing the engines, and yeah, it changes how many components you actually get. So
Okay.
you'll get more. So instead of a bigger engine, you'll just get more of them. They'll still
Okay.
be size 1, size 2, size 3, but instead of a size 2, the size 2 would go in like an Idris or something. For example, I'm just making something up as an example.
Yeah.
But instead of giving Cutlass a size 2 or a size 3 power plant, it would give it 4 size 1s or 3 size 1s. Does that make sense?
Okay, because they all fit in that box.
Right, right,
Because I know that they had, okay, this is the size 1 size. Like, this is the single seat size, this is the multi crew size, and this is the cap ship size.
right.
And they showed that on Around the Verse with that guy who made, what was the ship he made on The Next Great Starship? It was so cool, and he did it by himself. And now he's like a lead
I
ship
forgot.
guy. But it
Ship guy.
was, yeah, he's a lead ship guy.
Yeah, lead ship guy.
Yep.
Confirmed.
So I don't know. That was actually an interesting piece of news that we haven't really touched on until now, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah,
I don't know.
Anyways, because you were saying it's so slow,
Elwyn,
you
yeah,
are
no.
going to be able to upgrade some of these things. And remember, you will be able to tune um, tune thrusters and things like that, maybe for max output, but they are more heat or
Hmm.
whatever. So I'm excited for that system to come in.
I thought one of the coolest things about it is that they want to make them so that they're visible, where you can pick them out and
Yeah,
be like, like this
I know
guy
what that
is
is.
wrecking me with his guns. Let me knock his coolers out,
Yeah,
and that'll slow him down. Or, this guy's flying so fast. Let me take out his power plant. Maybe that'll knock his engines out or something.
or take his thrusters out or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Now on
and
smaller ships, I think that's
it's
something
gonna be
that's not as
hard.
viable. On
Like we
larger
don't
ships, I think it's going to be easy to target that
exactly.
one area
Unless,
they didn't protect on the desktop.
unless they change something in Arena Commander, like the LODs that they have now, until you're within like 500 meters, you can't see anything on the ships because they're so small. But when we get into Arena Commander 2.0 and beyond, when we get these huge ships in there, it's gonna be like the Death Star. You're gonna have to shoot in that one specific area to reach
Right.
your to achieve your goal or whatever you're trying to do, which should be really cool, especially for like disabling a ship to board it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know which parts you're going to have to pick off in order to disable that ship because you know what they look like. That is really cool.
Most definitely.
So
So,
that's pretty much it for the Aurora. I
is there
mean,
anything else with the
I love
Aurora?
I just personally love flying the ship. I think it's really fun. Biggest part is
I
the
think
HUD,
I think it's
and
going to be
second
something
part
that's a
is
lot more enjoyable once the game has more stuff to do,
that's
um,
other than combat.
other
Yeah.
than combat or racing, because this obviously isn't winning any races.
No.
And it's I
There's
mean, it
apparently
does do
lore where
okay,
it did win a
but
race one time. It won
yeah,
the Murray Cup once.
yeah, it won the Murray Cup once, but I think that's with highly modified stuff. And once again, that goes back to we can see that maybe later on. So
Like, can
um,
we boost this thing up to race in a Murray Cup race? That will be awesome. I will only race an Aurora if we can get it to like M50 speed.
but
That'd
then
be
the
so.
M50 speed is also going to go higher, right?
That's true.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure.
of course.
All right, let's go to some of the weapons that are popular with this ship as well. The Klaus and Werner,
Yes.
the repeater weapons. We are going to focus on the CF117 Badger repeater. So give me a little bit of the background on Klaus and Werner.
Now we have given this background before,
Yep,
so this is a rehash because we talked about it when we talked about
Sledge
the
2.
sledges.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So basically, Klaus and Warder was established by Hector Klaus, a weapons inventor, and Jessica Warner, which again I said this last time. It's not Jessica, it's Jessica, which is like a cool futuristic name, I guess.
Futuristic
'Cause,
slang name.
yeah, slang names, right? The widow of a wealthy industrialist. So he was the idea maker. She was the one with the money. And their philosophy is that the gun should have as few moving parts as possible to reduce like the supply chain and the need for replacement parts if they break. So they're cheap and they're reliable, right? Because less moving parts, less things to break, the better it'll be. It's unusual among weapons manufacturers and having such an skewed diversification favored in other firms. So like they basically do everything. They make the sledges, they make
Mm-hmm.
these, they make handheld guns for the FPS and all that stuff.
Right.
So they do a lot of things. So it's a pretty cool company, and we're going to see a lot of this company in Arena Command or in Star Citizen.
So it's one
Excuse
of
me.
the bigger companies in.
Weapons manufacturers, I guess,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, yes, and we're going to talk about the Badger repeaters. Now, I think we're going to overall talk about the repeaters in general because they're essentially all the same, just a little more powerful, little more power draw, little less, ability to fire as long as you go up the line, right?
Right.
But the Badgers are the most popular. They seem to come on a lot of ships, and size 2 is a pretty good size. Like, not everyone uses size 3s. A lot of people do use size 2s, so
Right.
figured we'd talk about these. So they're the second tier laser. The Bulldogs are the first tier, and the
Mm-hmm.
Panthers are the third tier. and there's some other tiers that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I think they go all the way up to 6 or something, but
Yeah, it's in the doc that we always look at, and I always link. So I'll link that doc later, and you can see the other ones. Its increased output and corresponding power consumption make it a solid contender in any fight. The power efficiency continues to be a problem, though, with the Klaus and Warner models. So we don't see much of that in Arena Commander yet. So that's part of the lore of this gun. But power efficiency, we get to use them for a fair amount of time.
yeah, like there was a period of time where I was using 5 Badgers, or
Yeah.
I was even using 4 Badgers and 2 Panthers back
And
when
not
you
really
could gimbal
running-
with size 3s.
Yeah, and you weren't really running out
No.
too quickly, were you?
No, it was fairly good at putting out damage and doing what we needed to do with it. I've obviously moved on since then,
Yeah.
but yeah, I spent a long time with these.
Me too. I mean, I still use them in some loadouts. I feel like they're going to be a staple for a lot of, in terms of repeater lasers.
Right. Yeah.
People are going to be using a lot of these.
They're gonna be. They fire at a decent rate of fire. They put out a decent amount of damage, and they don't heat up very fast. So, they're a pretty decent little weapon. I even like the smaller bulldogs and the larger
they're not
panthers.
bad.
I've used all of them in the same loadout, where I'd have like bulldogs on the nose, panthers on the wings, and then the bulldogs or the badgers
used that
on
loadout as well.
the turret.
Very viable in fights.
Yeah, and very very viable, very reliable too, for how long
Now-
it lasts for.
That's for now. When they bring in the armor system, it's going to be totally different. But
Right.
you can totally see these as really great weapons to bring down shields with, right?
Yes.
Just
Yes, most
blow
definitely.
through shields and then switch to whatever's going to rip apart some armor after that. So I'm definitely a fan. I think that these are going to continue to be a staple as they are now in Arena Commander throughout the development process of the game, since they are so popular now, and they come on like pretty much every ship. There's some form of a repeater on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a Klaus and Warner repeater at least. So going into like the stats of the weapon, it like we said earlier, it's a size 2 weapon. Its damage per round is 22. A good example of another weapon like that is the Mantises, which are popular weapons. Their damage is 20, so slightly more damage. Definitely a lower rate of fire for these. They're 500. Where let me look at the Mantises real quick. I'm not sure what rate they are, because they're obviously the highest DPS, but I'll take a look at that in a minute and we'll get back to it. The range is 2,400 meters, so fairly large range, right? And muzzle velocity is 1,200, which is a very popular range with a lot of the guns. You see a lot at like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,500. And
Right.
you can pair this with so many things. So obviously the Badger repeater pairs well with the Bulldogs and the Panthers. They're all 1,200. The Mantises are 1,200 as well.
Okay.
Omnisky 6s are 1,100, as well as the Omnisky 3s.
So pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah. Or no, the Omniskys are 1,500, excuse me.
Okay.
So they pair, it's not as close as 1,100, but they pair pretty well. When you get close enough, they're all hitting the ship. They're going to hit different parts of the ship, but they're all hitting fairly well. So that's pretty cool. Let's go look at what the Mantises are real quick. Their rate of fire is 900, so that's the big difference. Is it's 400 more rounds per minute, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it does so much more damage. Per like the DPS is higher, but still very good weapon and still very usable in the game. It's overall a really solid gun, and it's really good for pilots with gimbals, like how you said you were using all of them when you had gimbal mounts.
Yeah.
I think that's the type of pilot that's going to use it. Is currently, until we see something different, a lot of mouse and keyboard users are going to find these weapons on their ships more often than, say, a joystick user,
Right.
which might go for the Mantises or something like that. 'Cause
Well, I
why
mean,
not?
just people in general who are going to use gimbals more often, right? Like I'm mouse and keyboard. I tend to use fixed
Yeah, you don't
weapons.
use gimbals,
No,
right?
no. But
I would say most mouse and keyboard users are probably using gimbals, right?
probably though, yeah.
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 So
Um,
OmniSkies and Badgers and Bulldogs and things like that are probably going to be pretty solid for mouse and keyboard, but I use them all the time and I use the joystick, so I'm always fixed, you know?
yeah.
So they're still really good, but if you're looking for a loadout, these are a good thing to take a peek at. And I didn't put the price of them. I really should have done that. Off the top of my head, the Badgers are 8,000 rec or 8,000 UEC, so 800
8,000
rec.
rec, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8,000
So
UEC, so 800 rec, $8 to pick them up in the Voyager Direct
right
store.
now. And as always, these are all subject to change later
Yes.
on. Okay, so what I want you guys to do in chat is, number one, remember we are doing a starter pack giveaway. Exclamation point starter in chat. You must be following both my and Twerk 17's channels
Mm-hmm.
to get into that. And also, if you have any questions, in brackets, type question and then your question. So that can be directed at myself or Twerk or about Star Citizen or whatever you want. So start putting those in chat, and we are going to move on to Into the Void.
We still have occupational hazard, kind of.
We do. I didn't know we had an occupational hazard.
Yeah.
I lied. I lied.
But we can. You
We'll go
can grab
to-
the questions if you
we will
want. This time.
go. We will go to occupational hazard.
Yeah,
Then-
we were going
I
to talk
didn't-
about just Robert Space Industries and just where it came
Oh, okay.
from. Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right. Never mind.
maybe
A
I forgot
new
to put
new
it in.
section I didn't know about.
Hey.
Sweet
Yeah.
baby Jesus.
When I saw the things, I was like, oh, maybe he didn't know. Oh well.
No.
Basically, what I did was I just found a post about in a jump point about Robert Space Industries and like the history of it and everything, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about since we were talking about the Aurora. It is one of the oldest human institutions that are still going on in the universe. It was created in the 22nd century, so not too far from now, and they were responsible for the development of the quantum drive. And a quantum drive is like the frameshift drive in Elite Dangerous, where you're traveling in system from one area to another. So from like Earth to Pluto, basically what the New Horizon thing did, right?
Right.
That would be a frameshift drive, or a quantum drive. So it would get to Pluto very quickly.
Right. It's not your jump drive. And
no,
it's
it is
not
not
what
your
you
jump drive.
use
They are
in
different.
combat.
I think every ship has a quantum drive on it. Every ship, except for the Merlin that we know so far. Every ship that we know is
That we've
flyable
seen so far.
has a quantum drive. Ben at first on around or reverse the verse said that it did have a quantum drive, and then later changed and said it does not have a jump drive or a quantum drive. So the government quickly adopted the tech and began rapidly expanding the human universe, basically, and that's how all this rapid expansion actually started happening. Chairman Roberts had a distinct dream, and that was to bring spaceships to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kept with that. In 2140, they premiered their first model of the Zeus, which was the first kind of privately owned spaceship.
And that kind of looked like a mix in between the space shuttle and an Avenger.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because, it's not the same company that makes the Avenger, but it looks
Yeah.
a lot like it.
It looks very similar. Same
Yeah.
triangular shape and everything.
Yeah, and then obviously the color scheme, right?
Mhm.
To make it
And
look like
with the
the
Zeus,
space shuttle.
There's a model of it that you can get from the Voyager Direct
Yes.
store.
Yeah, it's like a little hanger flare type thing that you can pick up in the Voyager Direct store, which is cool. So if you don't know what the Zeus looks like, you can check out the Voyager Direct store and just take a look at it, or pick it up if you wanted. So RSI's history goes because we're now in 2945, right? And this ship came out in 2140. The RSI's history goes back so far that it's been studied. It gets studied by historians and sociologists as much as it gets studied by like businessmen and credit watchers to, figure out how to run their business. The headquarters are located in New York City on Earth, with a showroom and a museum which shows hundreds of spacecrafts dating back to Zeus. Now, with that said, do you think that they're going to model this showroom. I feel like they would have
I
to.
think they're
And if
going
they
to.
do
Yeah.
model this showroom,
Will they
are they
model
going to
the
make all
Zeus?
those ships? Well, no, they're going to model the
I
Zeus.
think. Well, I think this is the thing. If they're gonna make those ships, I don't think they're gonna be flyable. I think they're just gonna be.
No,
It'll be
definitely not.
like a Model A in a museum, right? Like it's just there.
But they
Yeah.
have to design them.
Yeah. They have to design. They have to see what they look like. Yeah.
And then another thing is the RSI Tower has been a distinct part of the landscape in New York for what
Yeah.
seems like is forever. So when they actually start designing Earth and the
Yeah.
landing zones there, I am super excited to see what they do with, especially the New York skyline. And I think they have South Korea too, which is like got a pretty distinct skyline as well, right? So it would be cool to see what they do. And art size development is divided into several major teams. The
Okay.
Astro Dev team, which is the team that does like everything that we can purchase. So the Constellation, the Aurora, and my assumption is the Orion. This dock was made, this was like one of the original jump points. So it goes so far back that they didn't even know what the currency was going to be called yet. So they called them star credits. They weren't called UEC yet.
Yeah.
So that's how old this dock is. So some of this stuff might be a little outdated. Some of this lore may even change. Who knows? So they have the Astro Dev team, and that makes up those ships. And basically, this is the group that everyone knows about because it's still like in line with RSI's origins, which was, to bring affordable spaceships to everybody. Then they have the Capital Dev team, which makes the Bengal carrier and
Mm-hmm.
other like mover transports and military contracts. This team's involved in as much as a dozen spacecraft, but as we know, Robert Space Industries only has three. So I think most of these spacecraft, they're like not the primary contractor. They just develop systems on them, is what they said in the doc. So just like maybe a computer system or something like that they're involved in. Then there is the engine dev team, which is what the company evolved from, because that's where the company came from, making the first quantum drive. And,
Right.
they're constantly upgrading them and making them more efficient and so forth. They also make jump drives, power plants, thrusters, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the experimental dev team, which is also called Skunkworks,
Right.
and that's responsible for like secret government contracts. And they're located on the dark side of the moon.
The Skunkworks team is right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they were responsible for most of the teardown work of the Vandal scythe, which is interesting because the Vandal scythe has anvil tech
Mm-hmm.
mostly, right? But that's because it's a military
Yeah.
project. But the teardown part was done by RSI
By
apparently.
RSI. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yes. And then civilian craft take up of almost half of the company's income. The Aurora is still the most produced spacecraft in history, and the Connie is the crown jewel of the company because it has like full modularity and it pretty much does anything that you can want it to do. And at this point, the RSI Orion wasn't even thought of, so there's no information on that there. And the last little part is that, even though they have the Bengal class carrier and other large warships, they've been notoriously unsuccessful at landing big military contracts, which is kind of like, what? Bengal
Yeah.
carrier? It's got to be a big military contract. But I guess not. They recently lost 7 trillion star
1.7
credits,
trillion.
or 1.7 trillion,
Yeah.
excuse me, star credits, or UEC, to win a bid for the next gen starfighter, which what happened to be won by the F8 Lightning, which we saw recently.
Yeah.
Thanks, Disco. And it not only didn't come in second, it came in third to the Aegis Dogfighter 3000, which we have to make an assumption is actually what we know now as the Gladius. Again, the stock
Yeah.
was super old. So the RSI prototype was dubbed as the Black Widow, and it was deemed too expensive, which is like weird because it's totally against like RSI's vision and
Yeah.
all that stuff doesn't make any sense, which means we'll probably never see it as a civilian craft either. So just some spaceship that we'll never know anything about.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for RSI. So it's cool to just see where
It's a
all
cool
of your
company that
spaceships
sort
came
of
from.
that covers a lot of different things and does a lot of stuff. Like having the RSI Skunkworks, what is it, XDT,
Yeah.
on the dark side of the moon is
The experimental dev
pretty cool.
team.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe you can visit it. Doubt
Yeah.
it. But secret.
It may be a hidden landable location.
Yeah, who knows?
All right, now we are going into the void.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some more news. And if you have any more questions in brackets, type question and then type your question in chat, and I will try to grab that. But with news, like outside of the PTU this week, is there really anything big
Not
that's
really. I mean,
coming
it
up?
was a very quiet week. I mean, we have Gamescom, which is like a big thing, but we don't know too much about what they're going to reveal. They haven't leaked too much to us, so
Yeah.
it's
Um,
it's there's not much, you know?
yeah, it's there. There was the. I mean, I guess I've been kind of trying to avoid it, but it has been sort of the big thing that's been happening.
Yeah. I guess we could talk
With
about what we did.
Derek Smart.
I wasn't a part
Um,
of it, but what I got to witness and was super proud
yeah.
of.
So, as you guys may or may not know, Derek Smart is the creator of the Battle Cruiser series, and other space games.
Nothing I've ever
Um,
played. I have no
Nothing
idea.
I've ever played before either. And to be honest, I didn't even know who this person was
Me neither.
until people said, "Oh, this is the Battlecruiser guy, and he's notorious for like just causing shit and being really full of himself." So he'd written some articles about how Star Citizen um, owes him something. I don't know. It was just like how he thinks that the project is doomed to be a failure and all this other stuff, and that it's going to be nothing but vaporware,
Yeah.
and which is kind of amusing, being as all of his stuff has been pretty much vaporware,
Hmm.
as in like nobody plays it at all. Like I was looking at some reviews of his line of defense game, that is currently still in early access and has been since 2007 or something, 2008. I'm
What?
not sure how long it's been. It's been a while. Um, but yeah, so he was causing all kinds of shit and threatening all this legal action and whatever. And then so CIG said, okay, fine, we'll just give you your refund, and just
Yeah.
refunded him. But something that directly affects us was in one of his articles he posted NK Sharp's video, the Ahi video, which if you are subscribed to Twerk, you will know the Ahi emote with the gray ad.
Yeah.
There it is right there. Ahi. Um,
It will probably say it in my ears too.
so that being said, the gray ed and the Ahi video were up on his thing, and so I told NK Sharp, and he's like, I didn't want him using it, so he put a new like banner over top of the whole thing and a new
Yeah.
thumbnail, just sort of calling out Derek Smart, and then oddly it was removed, but it was up for I think 10 hours or something, 12 hours
It was good.
minimum, so it was good.
He
It
still
was
he
up there
still
for a
linked
while.
it too, which
Yeah.
was pretty boss of him.
Yeah, but it's yeah. I don't know. I don't really agree with what he's done. I understand that there are some
There are
things
definitely
people are
concerns.
concerned about, but I don't think it was necessary to go to the
I'm gonna
level
sue
of
you and get my
craziness.
lawyers.
Yeah, everything's.
I was
I'm
just
gonna
like,
talk to legal.
whoa,
It's like yeah, yeah,
stop. It was just like, just stop, you know? I had a little conversation with him too, and was basically just said to him, I have no idea who you are. I've never played any of your games. I don't care to find out who you are, because if I don't know who you are, you're not very relevant.
yeah.
And basically, he was trying to say that his cause is noble and everything, and I was just
While
like,
peppering all of his stuff about, oh, go check out my game, or oh, here's some free codes for my game.
Exactly. And it was just like, you know what? It really seems like you have another agenda at hand other than the Star Citizen, like helping the Star Citizen community and, making this a positive thing. Like, obviously, Star Citizen, there are some risks. We all took risks back in this game. It's an early access game, it's a Kickstarter thing. There's always a chance that this game won't release or it could fall apart. Anything can happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think there's too much riding on it for it to fail. Like what I mean, there's so many things riding on it. Open development's riding on it for other
It's
developers.
not to say that it
Crowdfunding
couldn't.
is
It's
riding on
just
this game.
highly unlikely.
Yes, it's unlikely at this point, right? And um, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it was just like I don't know.
Like the
It's
thing
just
is, Chris Roberts has said this before. They have all the money that they need to make the game, as they have announced it, right now.
yeah,
Um, so if funding stopped, they could still make the game. And everything that they've announced with all the stretch goals and all of that other stuff as of right now. And as money comes in, that makes it able to either basically build that game faster.
hmm
But that's the thing, right? Like everybody's all up in arms and everything. Oh, there's delays and oh, there's this. That's bound to happen when you're working with new technologies, when you're trying to implement new networking code. You're trying to implement all kinds of new things that haven't been done before.
hmm
These delays are inevitable. And it
yeah,
is something that's going to happen. That doesn't mean, oh my God, the game's doomed. It's never coming out. It's like, listen, I understand
relax.
that some people
Yeah.
are, they follow it maybe too closely. Just step back, leave it alone for a bit, go play other games, and come back. That being said, I am really excited about the PTU this week.
Me too. And I mean,
I'm excited to see some progress because it has been a little bit.
and if you were like, okay, personally for me, and I know you have as well, I've backed a significant amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Personally have backed a significant amount of money and also given away tons of packages, right?
Right.
That doesn't matter. The amount that I've backed myself, Arena Commander isn't enough. If you've backed these other like a small amount, like if you've backed even a large amount would be $100. I think
Mm-hmm.
Arena Commander's totally worth that
Yeah.
amount. So like even if this game, which it's not going to, but even if this game just stopped today, they made a really fun game.
And they just continue just focusing on the thing that's in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I think it's all good. There's nothing to be afraid of. Thing is great, but for me myself personally, I've spent so much that I'd like to see more. But that's just my own personal,
Yeah.
thing that I did.
And we know that it's
But
all coming down. Like,
absolutely, it's so close. It just needs the behind the scenes development for some of these things,
yeah,
and we're
exactly.
good. I'm not worried at all. I'm super excited. If anything, I'm just super pumped. Like playing Chris's old games, you like I've played now Wing Commander 1, 2, and 3 on stream, and it is way like you just see all the groundworks of Star Citizen in these games. And I've played Freelancer too. Like being able you can change power management in Wing Commander 3. That game came out in the 90s. It was on friggin' CDs and used DOS still, I think.
Yeah.
Like what? And he had
Like
that
what?
stuff in that game.
Yeah.
Like my guns were running out of power. I boosted energy to weapons and I was able to fire them more often and wrecked everything. It was just like this is amazing.
Yeah.
Just it's going to be great. You just have to have faith in Chris because how can you not? Look at
Yeah.
what he
I
did with
mean,
so
look at
little
the track
background.
record. I
It's
think that's
insane.
really important to look at as well.
Yeah,
Right?
I've just
If you
been
look
playing
at
his track record, right? And
yeah.
it's awesome.
So moving on to questions here.
Yes.
From Tom Neverwinter, when do you think DX12 support will be implemented?
Well, that's pretty clear, right? DX12 comes out with Windows 10.
Yes.
Windows 10 was just announced July 29th.
Yeah, so it'll be out at the end of this month. I don't think DX12 will be out ready with it
Oh, okay.
on
I
July
thought it was coming
29th.
out
It
with
might.
Windows.
I haven't been keeping up with it, to be honest.
Me neither.
That being said, I don't think, I say that a lot, I don't think DX12 will be implemented right away. It is something that they're going to have to put into
In
the
Arena
engine.
Commander, no.
No, I think it's going to take a while for them to implement that in.
I'm
But
sure they've been working on it though.
I'm sure they've been working on it as well. I don't know. We haven't really heard anything from them on that. And to be honest, it's not super, super important that it gets that out the door right away. And yeah, nothing will support it right away either. So I would expect that may take a little while before we see that implemented in Star Citizen. From IDD can we have a Smeric Dart on the show? No.
Well, we can have Smeric Dart, but not Derek Smart.
Okay. A question. Sandy recently said they managed to get everything they wanted into the official HOTAS from their manufacturer. Considering that they might be revealing it at Gamescom, which is very true, what do you think the official HOTAS will or should have?
I think we discussed this last week, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it's got to fit with what Star Citizen is trying to do. So there has to be some sort of knob or other little thing that you can move with 6 degrees of freedom on it.
Little dongle or doohickey.
A little donger on there.
A little donger on there.
Be a little donger on there.
Little nib donger.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to have some way of properly controlling your ship with 6 degrees of freedom. I think that's sort of the tough part there.
Yeah, I mean, it has to separate itself because they want to sell it. So it has to separate itself.
I just clicked the wrong thing.
For Star Citizen, I would think, and it would sell for other games like Elite Dangerous and stuff like that as well, right?
Right.
With other 6 degrees of freedom type games.
From Imkeeper, Starliner, have either of you got it, and so can you show it at some point? I don't have a Starliner. I only have Drake ships.
I do not have a Starliner. It was too expensive.
Yeah.
I would like to show it. I've asked. The last thing I ever spoke to Chelsea about was buying ships that are hangar ready with wreck. Even though they're not flyable, you can put them in your hangar. And she said she passed it on to the proper people, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
Yeah. So I don't have one. I could show one when it comes into as a flyable ship, and we can rent it.
Yes. Usually what I do is if someone has one, which there's like one viewer of mine that has, like, he wants to have a rental company, so he spent a large amount and he has a lot of ships. So he'll melt some, and he wants to have a large amount of different ships so he can rent it for certain things. I think he may have gotten a Starliner, so he usually lets me use his account so I can show off some ships in the hangar that I don't own to the stream. So hopefully, but only if I'm able to do that, most likely. The Starliner was $400, so it was a little too pricey for me.
From Nope Too Fast, will Imperium declare war on my org? What is your org?
Yeah, and no, I don't think we really declare war.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're not a very aggressive org, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't see them as aggressive yet. We'll see though. I'm watching you, Imperium. Watching you.
Keep watching.
Good, I'm gonna. Zeus and Oxy asks, with 21 days to Gamescom and Arena Commander 1.1.5 still not released, do you think it's realistic to expect FPS to drop around Gamescom? I think we will probably see it before Gamescom, to be honest.
I would hope so.
I think that they want to show social module at Gamescom. And we know that they're adding a lot more to that because that's sort of hinged on FPS coming out because of the animations and all of that other fun stuff. So that's my prediction, but we will see. I've been wrong on that many times. So, question. Hey, twerk. All day at work,
I had to cut some of this out.
I sing to myself, "La jiggy jar jar do, dur 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 dee dur," thanks to your channel. So would you just admit the Avenger is the best looking ship in Star Citizen?
Nope.
What did I just say? What were those words that just
Carl Papa? That Carl Papa song.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
If you heard it, you'll know what it is.
Okay.
It's Carl Papa, man. Respect.
Zeus and Oxy, a question for the both of you. Will Star Citizen explode after AC 1.1.5 FPS in the game's column surprises? I think we're going to start to see a lot more players come back to it, and a lot more players
Yes.
start to play it, because it is something that's a lot new that a lot of people are looking forward to. And I also feel like after those things are implemented, then it's just a matter of adding the assets
Yep.
and
I also
start building
expect
the
our
assets
streams to pick up.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was looking for some things, I went back and looked at some old streams, and at the time I was showing like how many viewers I had in the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many more viewers back 3 months ago than I do
Yeah.
now, and it's pretty.
It's because a lot
I
of
don't think
people are
I'm
sort of stepping
bummed
back
out.
from it.
Yeah, they're stepping back from Star Citizen for a little bit because it's just a lot of the same. So when new stuff comes in, I definitely expect to see a lot of those people come back and more new people, right?
And our last question here from Skarnik. Do you think Cloud Imperium Games regrets using the CryEngine now that they see and feel all the problems with it? I don't think so at all.
Nope.
I think that they're happy with their choice and that they wouldn't have gone with it if they didn't feel comfortable with it. They also have a whole studio in Frankfurt that is basically CryEngine,
Mm-hmm.
right? So all the original guys from CryEngine, or a lot of the original guys, are working for CIG now. And so that's one of the things people are like, oh, they'll never be able to get this implemented. Well, now they have a reason to. And not only that, it's like, well, these are the guys who made it in the first place, so they know what its limitations are. And I imagine that if they didn't want to be working on this and they didn't think it was possible, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. And I think they chose the engine because it was CryEngine. It was Crysis 3. That game still is a benchmarking game for graphics cards that have come out, years after Crysis, or since Crysis came out. It's always pushed the limits, and that's what they wanted to do, So it just makes sense.
Most definitely. All right, Twerk, so what are you up to for the next week until next?
Well, we obviously are doing our Sunday giveaway, which we always do. So I'll go ahead and click WTF, exclamation point ships in chat.
Yeah.
And give the details on that. So we're
I've
giving away
infiltrated his mind.
Right, a starter pack, a Mustang Beta, and two $25 gift cards this Sunday. And
Nice.
if the Merlin does go on sale, we will change the giveaway to add at least one of those in. It's my we've kind of deduced that it would be $25, the Merlin.
Yeah.
Because they said it would be less than an Aurora. The cheapest Aurora is 30.
Yeah.
So 25 makes sense. We're doing that. I'm going to definitely be super excited about playing Reassembly on Monday.
Is that just going to be a Mondays thing, or are you going to do that on different days as well?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it gets some traffic and people start playing and get excited about it, and the stream will help design the ship. My vision is to kind of make Star Citizen ships in Reassembly.
Right.
So I think it'll be
Is there mods
pretty
and
fun.
stuff for that game?
Maybe. I literally played it for a couple hours, and it was just trying to learn the game mechanics, which took a little bit of time. I had to watch some videos and try and figure out what the hell was going on at first. And once you get a hang of it, it's super fun.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped about Monday, and then just obviously playing a lot of Star Citizen and just enjoying our time. Wing Commander Wednesday, Wing Commander 3 again next week, which I'm having such a good time with. So yeah.
Yeah,
Should be a fun
ES, by the way, the ES Aurora is only $20.
Oh, okay.
So just a heads up. So
but the
I have
ES
a feeling
is no longer. Is it for sale now?
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that it's the essential. It's the most basic one. I have a feeling that the Merlin will be priced in between 10 and 20 because the Gray Cat is 10. That's why I don't think it'd be less than 10, but it could be.
Well, the Gray Cat's 15.
Or the Gray Cat's 15, yeah.
Yeah.
So 15
but still,
and 20, yeah. We'll see.
Be pretty crazy.
It will be pretty crazy. For myself, we are just working on that stuff that I told you earlier, the Star Citizen themed Agario. Maybe after the stream we can jump
Okay.
in and I can show you guys what it looks like.
Yeah,
If you're interested in trying that out, Twerk.
definitely. For a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
because I got
Um,
some stuff to do. But yeah, I'm super
so
excited to
we
check it
are
out.
working on that, and a huge shout out to Proxys571 for doing a lot of the programming and code. I know he loves doing it, but basically I tell him this is what I want to see in it, and he's like, I don't know if it's possible, and then somehow pulls it out of his ass. So that's been pretty awesome. So that's like our main focus right now is get that done, especially with all this downtime in Star Citizen, because once Star Citizen picks back up with FPS and stuff, I wish we were working on this earlier, like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Um, but once Star Citizen starts picking back up, it'll be less Agario. I mean, it'll still be there. I haven't even came up with a name. We haven't come up for a name for our new game yet.
SC.io maybe.
No. I don't want to. I want to have it its own thing. But right now we have it working without any extensions. We have it working on mobile. We have it all of this stuff on our own
Awesome.
domain. So we're just going to continue testing that and implementing everything and looking forward to seeing that sort of take off. You can find myself at twitch.tv/WTFosaurus and Ryan Saurus on YouTube and WTFosaurusplays.com. My Twitter, if you want to tweet out at me and yell at me for something or whatever at any time, is at WTFosaurus on Twitter. And where can everybody find you, Twerk?
It's a little easier for you guys to find me since we're on my channel, but at Torque17 Gaming on Twitter. And I actually just changed my YouTube name to fit the URL, so it's at Torque17 Gaming as well. And you can type in !Twitter in chat or !YouTube in chat, and I'll give you links to both of those.
Very awesome.
So yeah. And again, I've been doing that Star System 101 series. Still kind of slow. I'm building that database up, but we're finally like in game working on a video about Battle Royale, and it's challenging. This is the most challenging video I've had so far. So it's a lot of editing and fun. I'm enjoying it, but I actually need to be good at the game to make this video, and it's kind of
Right.
hard because I need to do a few things. So I've been struggling with this one.
Okay, so just a heads up, we are still doing the giveaway. You do need to be here when we do that. So when I'm going to shut down the stream, we're going to start it back up, and then we will put let's say 10-minute timer on that.
Yeah.
And then after those 10 minutes, we will draw the prize, and yeah, we'll go from there. So thanks everybody, and make sure